It is March 26th. It is day 65 of the Trump presidency. And just a reminder, I plan to do this show every day for the first 90 days of the Trump presidency. And after that, I might scale back to 5 days or 6 days or something. We'll figure it out later. Just letting you know that you can expect me here daily unless I'm sick or something's going on. And I always try to tell you guys. Anyways, let's get into it. So the editor of The Atlantic released an article containing screenshots of the Signal group chat that was discussing the war against the Houthis in Yemen. And the Republicans testified yesterday, I think in front of Congress or something, that there was nothing that was a national security breach in this group chat. There's nothing confidential. There was nothing that shouldn't be in there. Unfortunately for them, I mean, I don't know what were they thinking. They knew that this guy had the screenshots, right? Like, are you okay? Because the chat had extremely detailed information about the timing of the bombing and I think even it had the coordinates. So here's why this is a really big deal. This is before the actual bombings occurred, right? So if this information got into the wrong hands, our military personnel could be apprehended. They could be killed. The military families are furious about this. It's a really big deal. It's not like, oh, oops, sorry. It's like a really, really big deal. And obviously we know that if the shoe were on the other foot, there would be calls for impeachment. There would be calls for removal of some of these people from their positions. We would never hear the end of it. And yet, typically, Democrats struggle to match energy, right? I mean, there's people making fun of them, but we really need to push this a little further than making fun of them. This is a really big deal. And we cannot have incompetent, drunk people coming from someone with 15 years sober. Listen, girl, I know what it's like to make mistakes when you are blacked out. Okay, Pete? I understand. Why don't you take a seat? Why don't you sit down? Why don't you take a beat, go to rehab, and get your life together? This is not the role for you, honey. I'm sorry. It's not the time. It's not the role. It never was. Most of us knew that. I'm sorry that people handed this to you and publicly embarrassed you like this, but you never should have been in this position in the first place because you are not qualified. DUI hire. And it's true. Like, so many of the people in this administration have no fucking business being there. Literally, it's like employing the Count from Sesame Street as your fucking tax guy. It's not a good idea, and you're going to go to jail. We shouldn't have done any of this, but here we are. I do love karma for literally just being like, oh, well, here's the receipts of your lies, honey. And it makes them look crazy, and it makes them, it basically showcases their ineptitude. And I'm excited. I hope something will actually happen, but if it won't, if Democrats are too weak to do anything about it, we are not going to shut up about it. Never. At the very least, we will torture these people all the way through their term in this administration, and I look forward to it. So Trump has now today placed a 25% tariff on all foreign automobiles. I think all foreign vehicles in general. So I don't know if that includes fleet, like trucks and other things too. I do not have any information on what percentage of our cars in this country are currently foreign made. I can't imagine that auto dealerships are happy about this. It's a really big deal. Think about like dealerships that mostly sell foreign cars or maybe exclusively sell foreign cars. Their customers are going to go somewhere else, right? So some of the decisions that he is making for this country financially are absolutely going to put people out of business. out of jobs. I mean, I believe we're already in a recession. I know there's a lot of talk about stagflation. People go back and forth about what actually defines a recession. I think some of it has to do with how long it lasts. I mean, I guess we'll see. Time will tell. But again, every day that goes by, they're doing more to kind of ensure that we are not going to recover quickly from anything that's happening. Here's some more good news. I'm not even being sarcastic. I'm not. It just feels weird to say that. I guess I had to like pause myself for a second. A federal appeals court upheld the block on the Trump administration, blocking them from using the Alien Enemies Act to deport people because we're not in a war. You can only invoke that during wartime. We're certainly not in a war with Venezuela. They want to deport people quickly with no due process. It's turning into a motherfucking disaster. People are dying. People are disappearing. It's a horrible situation. The appeals court was basically like, yeah, we're not in a war. You can't do that. You're violating due process. Fucking stop it. What I'd like to know, and what the article really didn't dig into, is what happens to the people that were already deported, like the plane full of people that this is about who were deported, who cannot be located. That's another thing that the appeals court mentioned, is you're cutting them off from their lawyers and their families, and that's illegal. I'm really grateful that there are courts that are willing to do this, even though, Mike Johnson's coming out and threatening the courts and saying he's going to eliminate the courts and all this fucking crazy shit. Do it, bitch. Seriously. The more lines they push, the faster we hit some type of explosive situation in this country. And you know what? If that's inevitable, I wish I would have watched this whole video. There's some dude, he's written a shitload of books. I don't remember his name. I'm really sorry. He was making an argument for why America are always headed towards authoritarianism, even if Trump never existed. And I want to spend some time thinking about that. I think that's an interesting concept. And his argument was that because of social inequity, because of financial inequity, there was no other ending to this story, essentially. And again, I mean, he's studied history. He's written dozens and dozens of books. So maybe, I don't know. I mean, how would we ever have a real answer to that question? Because we are in this now regardless, right? But authoritarianism is very much happening. It's very much happening. Getting rid of courts, getting rid of free speech, doing all these crazy things, just apprehending people that have not committed any kind of crime, that are here legally every single day. Republicans are now beginning the process to defund NPR and PBS, some of our publicly funded news. And, they receive, it didn't say if they mean a piece or total. They receive about $500 million per year that comes through the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Okay, so those two networks. Again, I don't know if that's a piece or a total, which is weird that the article didn't explain that. But the Republicans are making statements about it. They're saying you can hate us on your own dime. They're making it really obvious. I actually appreciate the honesty that they're like, yeah, we don't want you guys talking anymore because you're left leaning. Okay, well, reality is left leaning, bitch. And it just is. I'm sorry. If you follow science, if you follow medicine, if you follow justice and goodness and kindness, the reality leans left. It just does. Because you guys are nuts and you're liars, and actually I appreciate the hypocrisy. I do. I appreciate that they're trying to boost these crazy news stations that have been sued for spewing actual propaganda and lies. And then they're tearing down the networks that have received award after award for true journalism. And frankly, NPR and PBS, I don't even see them. They very rarely are saying anything like opinion wise. It's mostly just fact. It's definitely not. It's not even. I mean, we don't even. I'm trying to think. Do we even have? Maybe AP News kind of does that. Like maybe Politico does. I don't know. Like a lot of our like CNN used to lean left a long, long time ago, and then it was bought by a right wing billionaire. So we don't have a lot of news organizations. I'm trying to think if there's another one that I actually read. There's not. But anyway, in any case, NPR and PBS are fairly clean, and they have a lot of integrity. And honestly, that's the truth. The truth is, like, Republicans don't like that. They don't want integrity. They don't want people that are actually reporting facts, because facts don't agree with them. They just don't, right? Like the screenshots that came out that showed today that they were lying, because all they do is fucking lie. Anyways, here's more good news. A Democrat won for the district in Pennsylvania that had tended to lean, I think it's like 5 points Republican, something like that. James Andrew, I don't know. I think this says Malone. I'm sorry. My own handwriting is a little bit sloppy. And he won a Senate seat there in Pennsylvania. And that should give us a little bit of hope. It's possible that some Republicans are starting to flip now. People that are like maybe a little bit more centrist, and that truly thought that Trump was going to do something positive for the economy, or that he was going to fight. Honestly, it's not inflation. People want the prices of things to drop, and inflation is a really complicated subject, but really it's price gouging. And I know that Republicans went on this whole attack against the concept of price gouging, but that's what it is. I do think that some people thought he was going to do something about that. And in fact, obviously, like the opposite is happening. So maybe they're getting pissed enough, or maybe they're not showing up. Regardless, a win's a win, and we'll take it. Very sadly, and this is going to keep happening, a female Turkish student who's 30 years old at Tufts University was detained without explanation. They still, her lawyer is trying to contact them. They still have not given any explanation. She's a doctoral student. She's being held in custody by ICE. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. I'm guessing it has something to do with her having some sort of post in support of Palestine, or maybe going to a rally. Because so far, that's the angle that they're leaning on to try to detain people. They're looking for anybody that is not a U.S. born citizen. And also, I would expect eventually it's going to leak into that as well. I don't think that citizens are safe from this at all. I think they're just starting. They're picking off the edges, right? Like when, I don't know why this image came into my mind, but if a pack of wolves is going after a herd of buffalo, they pick the weak and the slowest buffalo and back off first. It's easiest. Those are the easy targets, right? That's why they're going after trans people. There's a very small number of trans people. And that means that it's harder for trans people to gain community support, because there's not a lot of them. They're not part of like the center of the LGBT community. Anyways, that they always start with trans people. And by they, I mean also in World War II. And they're doing the same thing here now in deporting people with anyone who has been outspoken about Palestine. And they're, doing that focus on students that are foreign, here studying from other countries, absolutely have valid visas and all that stuff, but it doesn't matter. And again, I'm 100% sure that this is going to start to affect U.S. citizens that are completely born here and have two parents that are citizens. Ukraine and Russia have reached a limited ceasefire. It's already kind of shaky because Russia has done some sketchy sort of like mini attacks that are sort of like violating this. But in any case, the ceasefire is supposed to just really be that they are not performing any kind of military activity or attacks in the Black Sea, and nothing targeting energy in Ukraine or Russia, right? Like those are like the hands off. That's the ceasefire portion until they can come up with like a larger peace deal. I don't know. Emmanuel Macron came out and said that if they ever reach a larger peace deal where, they need other countries essentially going in and reinforcing the peace in Ukraine for a period of time, that's the plan. That's part of a peace deal plan, is that they're going to put like boots on the ground from the EU in Ukraine to protect them. And Macron came out and said, like, if Russia violates the peace deal after that, like, we're going to go to war with them. Like, we're going to attack them back. Totally fair, first of all. Because I think that he's saying that out loud now to sort of deter like a false promise. Don't bother saying that this is going to be a peace deal and then trying to pull some sort of like fake attack, because we're just going to go to a world war anyway. So if you are planning, and by you I mean if Putin is planning to have a war, just get it over with, man. Because if it's going to end that way, then we might as well not pretend that we're going to have peace, right? Fair enough as far as I'm concerned. I know that Europe is probably understands that there is a really good possibility that, there is going to be a war, because, again, Russia is not actually willing to compromise. They want what they want, which is why these peace deal talks aren't getting very far, and they're not willing to give up very much, because they want Ukraine. They want the land. They want the resources. They want what they want. Now I can't remember if I told you this. I don't think I told you this. Sorry, I just told TikTok this. So if I'm saying this twice, I'm sorry. I don't think I am, though. Judge Boasberg, okay? The judge from the deportation case about the Alien Enemies Act. He is now, I'm sorry, try to keep up. This is very reality TV-esque, okay? He is now going to be residing over the group chat fiasco, the signal chat fiasco, okay? He is going to be residing over that case because a watchdog group is bringing a lawsuit against, I don't know, like Pete Hegseth and Tulsi Gabbard and all those people that were in that group chat and the Trump administration, saying that it violates, them using the app Signal violates the Preservation of Government Records Act, okay? I'm sorry. This story is so amazing because, Trump wants Boasberg to be impeached. And they've all been calling for him to be impeached. They're saying he's a left lunatic, all this crazy stuff, even though he's literally like voted in Trump's favor in the past. And judges just get like randomly assigned to cases like this. I don't know what the odds are of this. It's wild. I'm sure all of them are probably freaking out. And especially like right after the screenshots all got leaked. So they have like no defense whatsoever. They all just lied under oath. I don't know. Seems like karma is like bending over backwards and twerking right now. It's kind of wild to me. I mean, this seems like a slam dunk case, to be honest with you. And I don't know. I didn't see that it said anything about also national security interests, because I would think this is a violation, a bigger violation of like national security than it is even. I don't know how serious the law about the preservation of government records is, but I mean, it also like, I believe that it's meant to prohibit government officials from having shady, weird plans behind the scenes. You have to have proper records of the shit that you're doing, especially war shit. Anyways, they're nuts, and I hope they get exactly what they deserve. I don't know why I decided to end on this story, because it's not, the last story would have been the perfect story to end on, because it's hilarious and it's uplifting and it's karma doing karma's job. This really bums me out, but I'm sure you are aware that, they canceled the income-driven repayment plan for student loans, okay? So what that has meant for a lot of people, other than just immediately that they have to default on their loans because they can't pay them back, is that their payments have gone up obscene amounts. So there is a student who is, and she's a student loan borrower, and I believe she's an attorney in Texas, who is suing the education department because her loan went up over 300%. It went from $507 a month to $2,463 a month. Like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Even if you were making $10,000 a month, that payment is insane. It would prohibit you from really saving money or functioning. Most people wouldn't be able to pay it at all, right? And as an attorney, maybe she could sort of handle it, but I don't know. Attorneys don't always make very much right away, especially if she's like just getting out of school. I don't know much about her personally. But, we'll see what happens with that case, because I think it's really absurd and unjust the way that these loans, they're so predatory, and people are paying them off sometimes for I paid my loans for 20 years. The amount of interest that you pay is, it should be illegal. It should be illegal. In fact, even the Bible says it should be illegal. Why is my cat completely wet in the front? I don't know what happened, you guys. I don't know what happened. I have this giant water bowl, and she's probably just dipping her entire body into it. Anyways, it's late. I'm sorry that this video is late. I'm tired as usual, but I hope you guys are doing well. I hope we have some more instant karma to report on tomorrow, because that was fun. I like being able to tell you that there's some good news, and hopefully it'll help you guys sleep tonight. I'll see you tomorrow.